Good morning. Wow, isn't the light really different in here today? We've got blustery conditions outside. I've got the sun coming up from over here. It's actually relatively early. I don't usually record this time of morning, so that could be the problem. But never to mind, because it's more about what I'm saying that you'd be interested in rather than what I'm looking like. Are you ready to self-publish your book? And if you are, here's a quick checklist of the things that you need once you've typed the end in your book and got it edited. Remember, that is really important. So the reason why I was thinking about this is I've just put up a new book of my own, has gone up onto pre-order, Farron's story, which was Cooking with Magic, which is part of my Hellhound Collar series. And I started thinking about the different things that you need, those things you have to get together and compile before you start sort of organizing your getting your book up on to Amazon. So of course the first thing that you need is your edited manuscript. And yeah, I'm sorry, I keep harping on at this point over and over and over again, but it is vitally important that your book is edited before you put it up. You get one chance to make a good impression, and the last thing you want is a string of reviews saying how your book really could do with an editor. So don't do that. You want your reviews to be about your story and how brilliant it is, not their lack of commas or the fact you've used wrong words. I should know. I've had reviews like that with my first ever book. So that's why I keep pushing that point now. Now, the other thing that you'll need is a blurb, of course, your description. You want to give your readers a hint of what the book will be about, and you want a cover. And then you also need to add some things to the interior of your book, your interior file, which will include your front matter, your back matter, and your table of contents. Now, the front matter are those pages that go at the beginning of a book. They usually, you know how you've got your title page, and then your next page in has got all your copyrights in. You want to state that you own the rights to the stories. You also need to include the copyright notices that you have regarding your cover. Like, for example, I get all my my model pictures and what have you from places like Shutterstock. I have a paid subscription for them, which gives me the rights to use those pictures, but I have to state where they come from. So that way, there's no comeback, somebody saying, oh, you're using a copywritten image. That's why I get all mine through Shutterstock, because I know that I'm paying for the right to use it, because the artist is getting paid for the fact that I'm using it. So those all go on your copyright page. And then there's usually a warning about the penalties if anybody breaches the copyright, which is very important to state. Now, don't get too hung up if you're not sure about how to write a copyright page, okay? Especially the legality side of things. You can go to all manner of sites like the Writers Weekly. It's the only place that comes off the top of my head. But if you type in, front page for your book, or the copyright page for your book, there are a lot of places, reputable. Truth, I'm losing my words this morning. Just type in a copyright page template, and there will be plenty of them you'll find on Google. So just make sure that the one you're using, again, that you've got the right to use it. The other parts of a front matter that you can include might be a dedication page. You might want to put in an author's note if there's something that you particularly want your readers to know before they start reading. And then you're pretty much into chapter 1. On the other end, at the back of your book, you've got your back matter. And this is where you put your about the author page. And then if you've written other books, then this is where you'll list them. You can either do links or list, or you could even do, if you've only got a couple, put the blurbs in with a buy link or that sort of thing. But the thing is when your readers get to the end of the story, you want for them to be able to follow you which is why you put it at the back of the book. And you want for them to be able to know about other books that you might have, which is why you put it at the back of the book when they've got to the end and they've thought, oh, wow, I'd really like to read more by this author. Bam, you're giving them that information right there. Do not put this information at the beginning of your book. What happens is that when you put your book on Amazon, Amazon has a look inside function, and it's only a small portion of your book. If you waste pages putting in your about the author page and other books you've written and what have you at the beginning of your book, that person looking at it isn't going to know if they're interested in following you anywhere else. They haven't read your work. And there's a good chance that because you filled up that front matter with bits and pieces that are not relevant to the reader at that point, what you want in that look inside function is for your reader to be that engrossed in the story, they have to hit the buy because they want to read it. So don't clutter up your front matter with that sort of thing. Put that information of about the author and the books you've written before in the back of the book, where they're going to be more receptive to clicking on your links and following you and buying more titles, which is what you want. Now, with regards to covers, these can be done in a number of ways. I make my own covers. I'm really not that good at it, but my covers, in a way, over the years have become my brand. You know, I have a model picture, I have a background picture, and then I usually have my text done in white. In most of my books, probably 90% of my books, the text on the front is sort of basically white. And so it becomes like a brand in itself. And likewise, when you're doing series books, you want your covers to all be similar. So a reader can look at them in like on an Amazon search page and think, there's that book. And they know that it belongs to that series. So look at doing those sorts of things to try and help increase the brand awareness and make it easier for your readers to find your books in the clutter of everybody else's. Now, if you don't know how to do your own covers, that's fine. There are places like, I was going to say BookBrush, I think, can help you with covers, but I would have to check that out. I'm not sure. But the other thing you can do is you can go onto Fiverr and pay somebody like $5 to $20 to get a cover done for you. Or you can, there are authors, if you've got a specific, obviously you've got a specific genre. So if you type into Google pre-made covers and then your genre, you will find some places, some people, they make pre-made covers where you just put your title and author name in on them, and you can buy them as a thing. You can actually buy series packages of them. So there you go. So don't let the fact that you might not have any graphic knowledge sort of put you off getting your book published. There are plenty of inexpensive ways of getting covers. Finally, you need to write that blurb. And honestly, most writers, they think this is one of the hardest parts, it's actually true, because you're taking your thousands of words that you've written in your story and you're having to condense it into about sort of between 200 and 300 words to convince a reader that your book is interesting enough for them to want to buy it. Again, places like Writers Weekly and other sites like that have a lot of extensive information on how to write a blurb in different genres. My key advice is don't overthink it, because it is so easy to, sort of like worry about every little word. I mean, I'm quite lucky because I write romance stories. So I'd use like the three paragraph rule. In my first paragraph, I introduce my first character. Readers want to know about people. So, then you don't necessarily want to be introducing your world in the first paragraph unless your world is a major character in your book. So I usually write in the first one, I'll put my character's name, and then I'll just add a bit, a few brief comments about the situation that the main character is facing at the beginning of the book. And then, because my book is a romance, in the second paragraph of my blurb, I'm introducing the second main character, and then, and the same situation, so that so the readers can see where the characters are at the main point of their story. If your book is more fantasy or sci-fi or detective or whatever else, then your second paragraph will follow on, still referring to the MC where you can. Because, as I say, it's readers become invested in characters. So you want to sort of tease them with the idea that maybe this is happening or that's happening or whatever else. And then in the third paragraph, I usually just put little snippets, like little teasers of what the different, like, major plot points might be, or that, or there might be a demon wrangling or a whatever, but they're like really tiny snippets. So they are just, they're hinting at what's included in the book, and the thing is that you don't want to give the game away when a reader is reading a blurb. They want to know enough to intrigue them, but there's no point in giving it all away in the description, otherwise they're not going to buy the book. And the other thing is you do not want your blurb to be any longer. I think the rule of thumb, according to my friend JP Sale, is 250 words. I know mine usually range between 200 and 300 words, but anything longer than that is basically vanity, because the readers are not going to read them. So one of my key hints that I give most people when they ask about their blurbs is, depending on your genre, go into Amazon, look for the bestsellers in your genre, and then look at, say, half a dozen different blurbs and see what those authors have included. And then that way you can write yours in a similar style, and know that, the readers are going to expect that sort of style in their blurb. Now, when it comes to formatting your document, which is the last part of this, is, I do get a lot of questions asking about formatting. I write my documents in Word. I use 1-inch margins on an A4 page, a letter page. And when I upload my document to Amazon, I don't change that. Now, obviously, when I'm doing the paperback version, I do have to change my interior file. But quite honestly, people make out like it's just this really thing. And there are some awesome programs like Vellum and Atticus and places like that will format your book for a paperback, which is brilliant. Can add little graphics in and all this sort of thing. And if you're that way inclined, then definitely do it. But you can also, and jot this down, all you have to do is, in your Word document that you've used for your Kindle version, just resave that as a print version, then go into that print version file, change your margins to 6:9 or 5:8, or however big it is you want it. All of mine are 6:9, and then you change your margins to mirror margins, so they've got 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1.25, depending on how thick your book is. It might be 1.35 if you've got a really long book. Change those margins. Then I add page numbers, which is insert page numbers, top or bottom, wherever you want them. And then I go back to the table of contents that I created, and I just change them to put, add the actual page numbers in. Because when I do a table of contents for my ebook file, I don't put the page numbers in, because of course they're not going to relate on a Kindle. But you can then just change that same table of contents to just include the page numbers for your print version. And honestly, that's all I do. And it works. And then when it comes to covers, I don't bother to do like the template or anything for the covers. When I'm uploading my paperback books to Amazon, I use the same graphics that I designed for my ebook, but I use the creator cover version in Amazon, and I use their #1 design, which gives me like basically room for my picture on the front, the title and author on the spine, the blurb on the back, and then I always have my backs as black, so it's white text on black. But obviously, if you've got different colors or you're in a different genre or anything else, you can change that. But there, it makes it all so much easier. So there you go, my friends. Hopefully you've got all those things checked off. You have got your cover, your edited manuscript, your front matter, your back matter, your table of contents, and your blurb. You're ready to go, my friends. You can upload that book to Amazon and then start promoting that link so you can get some readers' eyes on your sales page. Good luck with that. And as always, if you found this useful, please hit the like button. If you are interested in more information about writing, self-publishing, and marketing your books, then please hit the subscribe button. And until the next video, my friends, please hug the ones you love, and I'll see you then. Bye.